Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back with another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. Gonna be casting a match. I am incredibly hyped for this one. It's gonna be a Protoss versus Zerg. I feel like it's been a while since I did a really good one of these. So we've got ourselves a PvZ, possibly one of the highest level PvZs in the world. Spawning up in the top left hand side of the map. I'm excited to say it's Serral, the best StarCraft 2 player in the world, without a doubt. He's going to be playing Neeb in a best of 5. This is from WCS. And I just thought, Neeb and Serral, I gotta cast this. I've wanted to see these two face off versus each other in a long time. Kind of arguably as like the best and say second best circuit players. And so anyway, here we are, spotting in the bottom right-hand side of the map. It's Neeb. So yeah, we've got ourselves what should be a fantastic best of 5 here. I mean, I think it's safe to say that Serral is still the favorite, and he's actually going to be cheesing Neeb a little bit here right out the gate. Going to be going for what is an early pool. So going to be... Serral's like, I'm the best player in the world. You know what's still good? A Ling Rush. So if you guys were still wondering if a Ling Rush is still good, the world's best player is answering you and saying you, hell yeah it is. And although I'm not sure Serral sounds exactly like that. But yeah, so... both these guys are incredibly good players. Neeb, I gotta say, he's one of my favorite players to watch and cheer for, just because he has such good results and just such good play, and seems so confident when he plays and everything. Like I'm just gushing my heart out over Neeb right now. Then of course Serral. I mean, like I feel like I don't need to gush over Serral so much because everyone else gushes over Serral. I myself, though, huge Serral fan. And by the way, just look at this. He's just dodged Neeb's scouting probe with his Lings, and now all of a sudden Neeb's gonna show up and he's gonna be like, oh no. Oh no. You know that, like, you know that Goofy or whatever, that Goofy meme that's just like, oh no. And now Neeb's gonna be in trouble because his pylon's gonna be getting unpowered here. There's no doubt, just the fact that Serral has got this many Lings in, there's not a chance in the world that this Adept is gonna finish. That means that it is entirely on probes here to repel these Lings. And I don't know about you guys, but probes versus Zerglings doesn't usually work out too well for me. Neeb is getting himself a pretty good surround on these Lings, but then they're gonna continuously run around in circles. Neeb is just trying to make sure that he gets this pylon up. Once you have one Adept up, life gets a lot easier as the Protoss player. So Neeb just going to be waiting for that. Of course, Serral might want to try and get that, but look at how much mining time Serral is denying for Neeb right now. We look at the actual income, and while Serral down on workers, he's making mad money, yo. Like Serral's just making the big bucks. Neeb is doing that probe drill for now, using that fancy probe micro. But oh, could be losing another prober here too. Probe or two here. You got to make sure you micro these right. And he's lost 3. This Adept is going to begin working away on these Lings, so this rush should be ended. However, just based on the workers killed, I don't know if it's worth it for Serral. However, on the mining time, absolutely worth it, I'd say. Just Neeb, he wasn't really mining at all that whole time. I mean, he had a few probes in his main base still, but that was just a fantastic rush for Serral. Now, the one Adept is going to cross the map. Might be able to force like a few more Lings or something out of Serral, which would actually be a nice bit of pressure coming from Neeb. However, this is officially an uncharted game of StarCraft 2, and that makes me a little bit worried for Neeb. Because Neeb really relies on like precise builds and such, and having that many Lings show up in your base this early on really throws a wrench into that. Now, this Adept runs on in here. She's going to try and start focusing down some of these drones here. So far, one of them goes down, but that's it. So one Adept for 1 drone. Serral didn't even make any more Lings. He was just like, it's all good. I'm just gonna kill this Adept with my queens and drones, because that's how good I am. In reality, just like, I mean, one Adept never gets that much done. Looks like Neeb actually gonna be countering Serral's aggression here by going for a very quick 3rd base of his own, which is an interesting play. And now Neeb goes for his wall up, but correct me if I'm wrong, is this is technically not a complete wall up. Lings can sneak through here because it's that triangle wall up, or that diagonal wall. So I don't know the term for it. It's like the pointy wall up, in which you got 2 corners facing each other. But maybe Neeb's right, maybe I'm wrong, because Neeb's just that good. And I'm not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm playing a bit of Protoss these days. Old LaughNgamez is playing some Protoss. He's like, all right, I gotta hold my rank, right? I gotta be that guy who at the start of a new season is like, gotta keep my rank. And I'm having a tough time getting back into Masters 3 as Protoss. Partially because I don't have a lot of time to play, but then also just, I mean, the matchup has changed a fair bit. I'm having a better time in PvZ, but then my PvT's got worse, I feel. Now, who's also having a tough time here this game is Neeb. His third base is under fire. He went for this very greedy third base, which I'm a huge fan of, but he never got enough units out to save this, and so Serral, who just scouted this, made a big swallow of lings and was like, I'll kill this. Neeb has to toss down a force field to keep his sentry safe. It's a good thing that he does that, but still, Serral canceling the third base really hurts for Neeb, who needs to get like a few more adepts or something out. Otherwise, he's never going to be able to push out into this many lings, because Serral right now has about a bajillion Zerglings here, or 27. I mean, that's a pretty close number either way, but now suddenly we see Neeb, he's getting caught out a little bit. He's going to have to toss down force fields to try and save some of his units. He's forced to use a recall there, but that's not going to save his third base, and all of a sudden, Serral is getting a second cancel, actually a kill on that third base. Ouch for Neeb. That's just it. Neeb taps out. GG. He knows how far behind he is, and Serral just takes a bit of a cheeky one there. And just like that, Serral goes up 1-0. Neeb just knowing with his third base canceled twice like that, you're not coming back versus Serral most likely. So all of a sudden, we're going to load on into the next game here in this best of 5. So Serral takes the first one. No real surprise there. And by the way, Can we please, this is like a PSA to Blizzard, please stop updating the game, so we gotta keep logging in every time we check a replay. Before Blizzard puts out a patch that breaks, every time Blizzard patches, it breaks old replays, so you gotta sign in every time. And it's a big pain for watching the replays, so if Blizzard just made it so it auto-signed us back in, no one would mind. Please do that, Blizzard. Please, please, please. Pretty please. Anyway, that's not going to stop this commentator from watching the rest of this best of 5. I mean, Neeb and Serral, two fantastic players, and I definitely think Neeb has what it takes to bring down Serral at times, but that just opening didn't work out too well for him. I really liked the choice from Neeb to go for a quick third base behind it, but maybe he wasn't quite prepared to defend it. Like, maybe he just needed to keep producing adepts behind that or something, so you have like the 3 or 4 adepts, which is kind of the magic number to deal with lings or something like that. Either way, we'll see how it's going to go this game versus Serral. Probe moves across the map right out the gate for Neeb, interestingly enough. I mean, maybe just going to try and block that natural base for the Zerg, and I think that's exactly what this probe's going to do. Serral doesn't have a drone going down, so good luck taking your natural is what Neeb says with this probe. He sent this probe out right away. He's going to try and be as big of a pain to Serral, and Serral is just like, nope, not having any of that. Sends the drone towards the third base location and is just going to expand there. Serral doesn't want any of this. So this guy's probably done like the math or whatever, or just likes the feel better. Either way, since it's Serral, it's probably the right call. You heard it here first, folks. If you go for if your opponent goes for a very quick block on your natural, just take the third. That's what Serral says. That would be like a good segment for teaching Starcraft 2. Serral says. Now let's take a look. This probe just going to harass the mining drones of Serral, but Serral, a very quick player. Neeb is one of the best Protoss at doing this, by the way, just continuously harassing non-stop to try and mess with the Zerg drone pathing. So it's just really great to see him do that. However, the probe does finish up doing that. Just gonna try and settle a score with a drone here, although one probe versus all the drones in the world, I don't think that's gonna go too well. Now let's take a look. Nexus on the way here for Neeb. Serral, getting up just standard Zerg macro, except his third bases, or his natural bases at his third, so a little bit of a difference there. As a result, Serral's probably going to trust, I mean, it's no surprise if Serral gets up his third base, but you generally don't skip your natural base when you're in this situation. Like, you're not going to 2-base or anything with your third at your natural, but that's just a minor point there. In comes this drone that's like, alright, you got, okay, never mind. I'm not going to deal with that probe. How this drone? Nope, not this drone. Just going to go right in. And that one drone just goes right on by. They're all just seeing this probe. They're having none of it. That's because they're on their way to mine. The third, or the natural base of Serral has just finished. Meanwhile, Neeb just macroing up normally behind this. And we take a look at Twilight Council is the option behind this for the Protoss. So no Stargate or anything versus Serral. We'll see. I feel like if Neeb is gonna try and take down Serral, it's gonna be with like a big old adept timing or something like that, or with like maybe charge lots or archons, something like that, to try and catch the Protoss off guard. As I feel as if that's what Neeb really, really excels at. However, if you gotta take down, like, I honestly have no idea how you try and take down Serral. Like, he's just so darn good. Unless your name is like Stats or Rainer, it's probably not gonna happen. We'll see if Neeb's able to pull it off this time, though. Like, I mean, everyone can beat Serral, but no one does. Like, no one's immortal. But if you're Neeb, you're like, alright, what are you gonna do? The choice is a Robo behind this. Is he gonna go for a Dark Shrine or something? Is it gonna be an Archon drop? I feel like an Archon drop isn't the worst choice in the world. Oh, he started it, then he canceled it. Oh, we saw it. I don't know if you guys were paying enough attention. There it is. The Dark Shrine goes down, so Neeb gonna be going for one of those nice Archon drops. Or possibly just DP harassment. Neeb ends up recalling this Adept to get her out of there. It's just phasing out at the last second possible. Kind of like something out of the Matrix there or whatever. Warp Prism on the way for Neeb. Critical step to the Archon drop, I mean, or to the DT harassment. We could be seeing like that double Archon, double DT drop. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen that, and that can always get some damage done versus a Zerg, I feel. Versus a Zerg, definitely true. Versus a Serral, we will wait and find out. Roach is already on the way for Serral. He's one of the players, he's made his career off just having the perfect defenses. Like, just trying to attack me. And then I'll just sniff it out and defend it. And that's what he's doing. That's why he's making 2 roaches right now. He's a little bit supply blocked just for a second here. Then he'll probably make a few more and just go up and up from there. And now we're seeing Neeb. He's firing up a few more gateways. So going to be going up to 4 gates. That's enough to warp in 4 DTs if you guys do the math. And so there goes that Prism. DT is going to be getting warped on in. But oh, look at this. Serral's actually going to be looking to put the pressure onto Neeb here. A Dropper Lord in the top left. Or in the top, I mean, kind of rightish of Neeb's base. That's an interesting play there. And meanwhile, Neeb, he's getting up an Archon. Gonna have to warp in a few more DTs, a couple more DTs. These links, however, are crossing around this. And look at this. The Nexus isn't done, so Neeb's actually gonna have no idea this is coming on in until that pylon spots it. Serral sees the pylon and he's like, I guess I'll go for it. I guess I'll just give it. Neeb, he's going to be focused on this Archon drop. There's a ton of roaches out for Serral. So Serral playing the defensive, playing the offensive. Neeb has to warp in a couple of Adepts to try and defend versus this. Probably going to want to shade back to his mineral line. There we go. So he can start picking off these Adepts, try and work away and force them out. Gets rid of the Lings. Now, how's this drop doing on this side of the map? So far hasn't found a lot because Serral has plenty of roaches here. And we're seeing Serral, I mean, his drop didn't get a ton done, so that's quite nice for Neeb, the fact that he's taking care of this. But then we look at it, and I mean, Serral's going for a Spire behind this. And Neeb, I mean, he's not going for anything that's really anti-Spire this game. Lings are now going to be getting on into his natural. This Immortal will take care of those. Neeb's securing up his 3rd base, making some sentries, and that's because he's planning a big old Immortal Archon attack or something like that. But Serral's going to have a Spire done in like 20 seconds, and he's going to be able to make a good chunk of mutas, and Neeba's going to be horrendously unprepared for this. I mean, he went for the Archon drop, so he'll have the Archons and stuff, but when you're going up versus someone like Serral, who's able just to have map position all over, just have an advantage like that all over the map, it's going to be very, very tough for Neeb just to deal with and find a chance to move out, because the choices are either just to try and macro it out, or just to die, and or just to counterattack and hope that your main base survives or whatever long enough for you to kill the Zerg, basically. But oh man, with 7 mutas about to pop out, if Neeb loses this Warp Prism, it could essentially be GG here. Hopefully he's on point though with a recall or something like that. I mean, I definitely feel like Neeb is good enough not to just not suspect mutas or something. Right now we do see him warping in 2 more DTs. Is that going to be for an Archon somewhere? Yes, it is. So he's starting to build up a bit of anti-air, but regardless of how much anti-air you prepare, until you've actually scouted the mutas, you can have a bit of a tough time. And we did see Neeb. He gets on in here with some hallucinated Phoenix, and he did see the Spire. Okay, so Neeb knows about this, and we are seeing cannons start to go up now. He's getting his +1 discharge and getting cannons at his bases, so he is getting ready to deal with these mutas, which are now across the map. He's got an Archon at his 3rd base, which is going to try and help defend. This Archon actually has such short arms, it can't actually help out, really. Cannons finishing up will help out, and so far only I say 6 probes have gone down to these mutants, and that really is within the realm of acceptability. for the Protoss. Sometimes we just see more and more go down, and Serral definitely is going to be looking for that more and more. Neeb's probably going to want to be firing up Blink right after this charge upgrade is done, because he does not have that. He doesn't have anything to chase down these mutas, which you need as the Protoss. And as a matter of fact, Neeb's actually just going for it. He's just saying, all right, Serral, you got mutas in my base. I'm going to try and kill you. Let's play this one out and see how it's going to work out. Serral, back at home, has been getting ready to try and defend versus this. He's got just a whackload of roaches. He's getting +1 melee attack, but that is not going to help all of his roaches. Neeb has his +1 attack. He's got Force Fields, Immortals, and Archons, and Charge Lots, so maybe Neeb can make an attack like this work. But look at this Serral positioning at this ramp, just waiting to pounce on the Protoss that comes through these choke points. So Neeb might actually just be going home with his tail between his legs. He's taking gases at his third base. He's got Blink on the way, but in the end, it looks like Serral is going to force this game to go longer, which he seems to be more than okay with. Serral, the Zerg, who's now on 4 bases, who's now firing up a ton of Banelings. That's what that +1's for. Serral's like, okay, Neeb, you're not attacking me. It's time for me to attack you. Let's turn the tables on this one. 20 more Banelings on the way for Serral. Now, Neeb, he's got some Force Fields, but he does not have Psystorm or anything like that on the way. And if I'm Neeb right now, I'm just going ruh-roh. Neeb got to try and deal with these Banelings somehow. Corrosive Bowels knocking down those Force Fields, so these Banelings are getting through. There is a lot of Archons that could potentially buffer for this, but there's simply so many Banelings for Serral. Neeb's got to try and hold on. I mean, this is just so many Banelings here. The Stalkers are trying to split up. I mean, Baneling's not super effective versus Stalkers, so it looks like Neeb is actually going to hold on versus this attack. He doesn't have Blink quite yet, so he can't pursue. It's a matter of seconds away, so that timing was actually very good for Serral. And meanwhile, the Muta's just being a pain as this is going on. Stalker's going to try and do something about these Mutas. Actually going to get 1 or 2 of them. And now Neeb orping and more Stalkers to try and get on top of this, but a counterattack might definitely have to be out for Neeb pretty soon here. That being said, though, his army, he lost Archons. It's not too good of a Protoss army. Like, look at this. It's 18 Blink Stalkers, which are not the best for Protoss, honestly. Like, they're not a unit you want to hang on for a long time. And, I mean, Neeb's very good with his Blink Stalkers, but taking on this much Roach Ravager Ling, I don't know. I do not know. Let's see. Stalkers are out. They're trying to deal with these Mutas, which are still just being a pain. Neeb has killed off 3 of them, but they've killed off like 17 probes, so pretty good success for these. And oh, look at this. Serral planning one of his classic multi-prong attacks. Going to be moving on in here with these Roaches and Ravagers towards the Protoss Natural. All of a sudden, Neeb is going to be in a bit of a panic. Tries to warp in a Zealot to take one for the team there. Kind of stalls Serral for a bit, but at the same time, the 4th base is no longer there on the map thanks to these Zerglings here. And now it looks like Serral might be grouping up for a big attack. He just knows that he's maxed out, so he may as well try crashing onto the Protoss here. Neeb doesn't have Psystorm or anything. His +2 just finished up, which is going to help him out, but I feel like there's simply not enough Protoss here. Neeb needs Psystorm or something to deal with this much Roach Ravager. He's trying to secure a 4th, but I don't know if it's going to be happening. I mean, Neeb wants to take a fight. He needs to take a good fight if it's going to happen, and it looks like it is. There's these Archons. They got to absorb a lot of Banelings. That's going to be their job, but the Ravagers and Roaches, their Corrosive Bile is going to be so powerful. We see Neeb splitting to the best of his ability. Stalkers blinking back. I mean, a lot of the Banelings do get nullified. They're good micro from Neeb. He's now going to try and pursue into this. Guardian Shield helping out his units to try and stay alive. So far, Neeb takes an okay trade there. However, while this is going on, the Mute is still being a pain. Neeb hasn't secured a 4th base, and Serral's going up to a 5th. He's going up to a Hive. And he is just at a runaway Zerg economy right now. Just, whereas Neeb, he's really pinned. He needs something. If Neeb, say, had Psystorm on the way or something like that, I'd say maybe he could have gone for an attack or something. But he just hasn't been able to get that up. And as a result, I don't know what you do with your Neeb right now. I guess you start your +3 probably for starters. But he's quite broke as a Protoss. I mean, Serral's just getting really far ahead in the economy. Neeb's had to deal with these Mutas the whole time, which I think are finally dead, I want to say. Nope, there's 4 Mutas still flying around the map. Neeb has had such a tough time from these Mutas. They've been giving him so much grief. So much grief. And we take a look here. Serral's really powering on up. A Greater Spire is on the way, and that's really going to be the killing move for a Protoss who doesn't have, say, Tempest or anything like that, or who doesn't have an attack that's imminent, anything like that. So, I mean, bit of a tough time here for the Protoss player. We'll see, and all of a sudden, Baneling's rolling on in towards Neeb's 4th base. Those probes got to get out of dodge. 9 of them go the wrong way and go down to the Banes. Looks like the rest of them will survive, but oh no, one of the Banelings makes it in, and oh, those Banelings having their +2 attack one-shot the probe, so that one Baneling killed like 11 there. So Neeb losing a critical chunk of his economy, down to 39 workers. Looks like he might just be going for it. Neeb thinking of just giving her, but he's got to run away from these Banelings. Those poor Stalkers that weren't able to blink out, having a tough time. That is so many Banelings versus Archons, so not an efficient Bane trade there for Serral. However, it might just be enough just to whittle Neeb down, because Serral can afford to take bad trades like this. We just look at the army supply, we look at the bank that's now building for Serral, and we look at Neeb right now. Neeb's just giving her, but with Blink Stalkers and a couple of Archons, I don't know if he's going to be able to take down this army. I think Neeb really needed Psystorm or something here. Archon gonna be getting saved there by Neeb, doing the best that he can. He needs to warp in whatever that he can off the back of his weakened economy, but Neeb's on creep right now. He's got Blink Stalkers. They gotta try and avoid the Banelings, but there's just so many here for Serral. Still 20 Banelings on the map, just crashing into Neeb and crashing him out of this game. GG gets called as Serral takes map number 2 in this best of 5, and it's looking tough here for Neeb. I mean, I love Neeb, and I think that game definitely could have gone his way, but then he kind of got stuck. Neeb really just got stuck. So, I mean, like, I felt like he made good moves in that game. He took some good fights, and he really showed Neeb standard good control. But in the end, Serral just 2 Gosu. We'll see if Neeb's able to take the next game here. The map is going to be Triton. I'm going to go ahead and double-click on that one, and we will load right on into it. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on into these YouTube casts. I hope you've enjoyed them. I know I'm kind of all over the internet, on a freak, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter. I've even just made a Discord, by the way. So if you're enjoying this cast, check out my Discord. Just hop on in. Maybe you'll see something cool posted. Maybe not. But yeah, definitely worth checking out my Discord. I feel like it's small, but it's bumping for now. And yeah, so check that out. And of course, before we get right on into this game, make sure to press that like button. Let's try and break 20 likes. I mean, if you guys aren't going to break 20 likes on Neeb versus Serral, I don't know what to say. So let's try and hit 20 likes on this video. If you're enjoying it, just take a second, click that button. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you're watching like Neeb versus Serral getting cast here and you're enjoying the commentary, I'm going to implore you, hit that subscriber button. And if you happen to be like a continuous subscriber, someone who's been around a while, there's like a bell icon that's new to YouTube. I honestly don't know what it does. It gives you like better notifications, like push notifications or something. Like you actually get like a little 1 or something whenever I upload, which is cool. You might want to click that bell. But enough of that. We're 54 minutes into this game. Time to cut that rambling. Let's talk serious Starcraft 2 here. As serious as Neeb building his first gateway can be. Serral building his hatchery, unopposed, by the way. Neeb did not send out a cheeky probe this game to block that. So, yeah. Let's see how this game is going to go here. I mean, like, I feel like if Neeb gets Psystorm there, it's a completely different game, right? But Serral's mutas were just so good that game. He kept he kept 4 out of 7 alive the entire game, and he just harassed all over the place. Like, some Zergs will just get careless and just throw away their units. Whereas Serral, he's like the master. If Serral was a guy who ran like a juicing company or something, he would be the master juicer. He just squeezes every drop out of any unit that he has. Like, he'll just get any bit of value. So yeah, there's that analogy for you. Okay, I don't know what to say about that. That may or may not have the fact that I'm probably gonna be doing our yearly like apple juicing coming up here pretty soon. But yeah, let's take a look here. Standard opening from the Neeben. I do love the Neeben. I think that term was coined by like the Gauntlet guys, Gauntlet Starcraft. They did some great Starcraft back in the day, man. Like, and I say back in the day, and they're considered like new age content creators. But yeah. Anyway, this game here, Stargate on the way for Neeb. So going for the more standard opening, I mean, like, a Stargate is considered the standard PvZ opening. It just gives you that control. We take a look at this, though. Serral, not confident that he's going to get, like, a perfect scout or anything. Opts to go for Pneumatized Carapace, just to be sure. All the while, though, he is trying to get in just like that cheap Ling Scout. And that's going to run right on in here. And oh man, is this Ling going to get on in? Neeb's going to try and block it, but nope, that that Ling gets on in. And now we see Serral's going to come on in. He's going to scout that Stargate. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Serral cancel Pneumatized Carapace or something like that. I guess he still wants that to scout the follow-up tech or whatever. But for now, he knows. He perfectly knows. Like, the amount of games which Serral gets on in with his first Ling and just sees that Stargate perfectly. Oh man, it's disgusting. It is disgusting, ladies and gentlemen, how often Serral gets that scout. Those Lings, they just time out perfectly. And I don't know if that, I need to pay more attention to like how the pros approach that, if that's like a normal PvZ thing, but I'm pretty sure most Protoss will try and shut down that Zerg scout, but Serral just has the perfect path. Maybe it's because Neeb didn't Chrono Boost out his second Adept, so it wasn't in time to block it. I guess he didn't really keep his first Adept back at home. Now we take a look at this game. Neeb going for a Robo. He is getting up all of his gases behind this, so it is safe to say that Neeb is going gas, gas, gas. Oracle for Neeb just hanging around, by the way. Gonna try and get some Larva, but look at that, Serral not wanting to lose that value. Runs on it, or actually just uses that Larva. Of course, Larva a lot easier to kill than an egg in Starcraft 2. Look at the HP. For those of you unaware, a Larva has 25 HP, whereas an egg has 200. And Oracles don't care about armor, so that's like a big difference. Like, the eggs, they take like 10 times as long to kill, just about. Just about. Maybe like 7 point something. I'm trying to click on some of Serral's larvae here, but he's so quick. He's always using it. He's always spending it. I just can't look at it. Alright, now let's take a look. 2 Oracles and a Phoenix coming on in for Neeb, doing that classic Protoss trick, but I think Protoss may need to try and get some better tricks or something like that. Yeah, look at this Neeb, he's just getting shut down. Serral's dealt with this a million times. He is so Gosu. Neeb going for a 3rd Oracle. I do like just the mass use of Oracles from Protoss. Stasis wards are very good for a Protoss player. And then, of course, just continued revelation and things like that. However, I feel like even versus Serral, you're not going to get, like, good stasis ward zones out versus someone like him. Maybe Neeb can get in here and get a queen or something. That would be kind of cool. And Neeb is going to go for it. Lifts up one, going to try and target down another. Serral immediately retreating with his other queens. But, okay, this is a nice move for Neeb. He hasn't really got any drones, but he does nab himself up 2 queens at the cost, or 3 queens now, at the cost of 1 Oracle. Definitely worth it there. And actually nabs up 2 drones on his way out. So I'd say that was fully a worthwhile trade there for Neeb. 3 queens and 2 drones for 1 Oracle. I'll take that trade any day if I am a Protoss player. Now this Phoenix working away on this Overlord. Meanwhile, somewhere, Serral has a Spire on the way. The question is Neeb going to be able to deal with this one? I mean, the last one he kind of got wrecked by. No offense to Neeb. As he gets on in there, by the way, great control, picks off another 3 drones. But yeah, that last Spire, Neeb just, those 7 mutas just toyed with him, and his build is looking somewhat similar, so we'll see if he does scout it this game at least, so he can be prepared for it. For now, though, it seems Neeb's preparing to move out for an attack. He has a Warp Prism on the way. He's getting up a Templar Archives. Of course, Neeb doesn't have any Archons this time around. He's got a Stargate. But he has yet to spot this Spire, so he has got no idea that there's this Protoss Air Force potentially coming his way. Neeb's looking to move on out. I get the feeling that this could just be a bit of a fake poke here from the Protoss. There's no Warp Prism with this just yet. And look at this, Serral. Oh man, Serral is so good at this game. So good here as Serral is coming on in. I feel like I'm saying my S's a lot here in casting this game. Partially just because I'm casting a Serral game. But no, I mean, it's just, he's playing very well. Neeb, he's trying to go for an attack, nothing happens. There is always a counterattack getting queued on up here from Serral. Only 2 mutas on the way for Serral. Okay, he's already got 8 out, so 8 plus 2 means 10. If you guys are aware of that, we're gonna see Psystorm this game, and there I am again with all those S's in it. Like a C Psystorm. Sally seashells. Looks like these oracles flying on in a little bit too far. The mutas now find them. Of course, this is going to give Neeb a bit of a heads up regarding this, so he can build a cannon or two in his mineral line, but we saw what good that did him before. The mutas still ran amok in his base. Shield batteries really help out prevent those mutas just from getting uncontested damage. Now there's Archons and stuff trying to get in. I get the feeling that the Archons are actually too thick here in order to make it through this wall, so Neeb gonna start losing probes to these mutas. He needs to get his Archons toward his third base already, but the Archons, they're just chilling there. I mean, the Immortals and the Sentries are coming on in to help, but they are not gonna help deal with mutas. They don't shoot up, if you guys didn't know that. So this is looking a little bit tough here for Neeb. I mean, yeah, Serral is just getting way too much damage done here, and it's basically just gonna force Neeb to all in again. He starts up another Stargate, and he's gonna begin building Phoenix, but Serral isn't even committing to these Neebas. He's not even doing that. And I feel like Neeb is just getting backed into his corner. Like, his defense is lackluster. Usually by the time mutas are coming out, there's going to be like a Protoss attack or something like that. But Serral, nope, he's just getting up a Hydrogen, getting up Lurkers. And then there's still going to be the mutas out. Not to mention the Lings out for Serral this time around. And he does have cannons and the stasis and all of his army there. So he's fine for now. And Neeb is going to have out a couple of Phoenix, which will also help deal with all of these mutas and everything, but Serral isn't focused on these mutas, and oh my god, Serral building 8 Dropper Lords is looking to just meme onto the Protoss here. He's just gonna drop it. Drop the base right onto Neeb. Literally drop the base. Neeb has a ton of Stalkers in position, but I don't know if it's enough to bring down this many Overlords. And now the Overlords, they are starting to mosey on over here. So Serral gonna load everyone on up, and he's gonna drop onto Neeb's base here. This is, oh my god, Serral is so good at this game. Like, normal Zergs don't do this often, but Serral knows just the perfect moment to bring out a play like this. We'll see if it's even going to work out. Is Neeb in position to deal with this right now? He is moving his army to take the 4th base. It's possible Neeb could intercept this army. That would be absolutely gigantic for the Protoss player, but Serral is dodging away from this. Neeb is suddenly going to have a rude awakening. Alright, these Stalkers have got a lot of work to do. Neeb is like, uh-oh, that makes no sense. He's got to recall this army into his main base, I feel. But of course, Serral is waiting in position. If you're Neeb, you do have to recall that. I feel like that is the best play to deal with something like this. A ton of Zealots are getting worked on in. Neeb is trying to deal with this. I mean, both players have a pretty big army, so it's fair to say this is still anyone's game, but Neeb has to deal with this attack right here, right now. Got to deal with the Lurkers in his base, and there is a fair few. It looks like he will end up repelling away the Zerg player from his main base, but that just gives Serral a window to take out his natural, beautiful positioning there by the Zerg player. Storms have to be dropped from Neeb. He's got a lot of exposed High Templar. They've got a Storm to cover their retreat. They're doing a good job of that, but in the end, still a great move from Serral, knocking Neeb down to 3 bases. These Immortals and Archons trying to engage, but this is a mini engagement that Neeb cannot win, loses 2 Archons practically for free, and now just has to group up the rest of his army. And once again, Neeb is just pinned by Serral. He's just getting bullied and bullied over and over again. And I mean, like, yeah, we just take a look and it's just not happening here for Neeb right now. He's trying to secure up a 4th base, but Serral has got his licks in. He's building up a bank. He's maxed out, getting Corruptors. I'm willing to bet those are going to be for some GG Lords. Oops, I didn't mean to press that hockey. We went back about 7 seconds in the game. So let's take a look here. Okay. Oh, God darn it. I do apologize. It's not often that I actually bring up the Structures tab. There we go. Structures. GG Spire on the way there for Serral. So Neeb, he's going to try and push back this Zerg for now. He might want to push into his opponent. He's trying to rebuild his 4th base. But I feel if you're Neeb, you need to, like... He's got an army composition for a Protoss, which is used for, like, a timing push or something. And, oh, no, these High Templar... Okay, Neeb has to morph them into Archons to try and save them. He's got to get his Blink Stalkers in there to push back these mutas. But, of course, Serral still finding value with these units this far into the game. Neeb has his 2 Phoenix alive still, so he can actually use these to bully these mutas right now. And these mutas, they are going to go into the main base. Where are those two Phoenix? Okay, they're busy. They're trying to deal with their own things right now at the 4th base in Neeb. It's looking like a little bit of chaos. Stalker's dealing with these mutas in the main base. They got a few friends here who should be coming to help on out. Neeb might want to be blinking back those injured. Stalker's going to be doing just that. Serral just trading out casually with these mutas, always finding his value. Now, Neeb's army is looking pretty strong. However, the one thing that counters it is exactly what Serral is going for. He's going to be getting up 7 Broodlords. And we joke and we say GG Lords, but in some situations, it's usually your opponent has a response to Broodlords or they don't. And if you don't, you just GG. And that's probably what Neeb, or that might be what Neeb has to do here. It's going to be so tough for Neeb to deal with these Broodlords, of course. Neeb is one of the best players in the world at taking care of Broodlords with Psystorm and Archons and things, but taking out this army, I don't know if he's really got the stuff. He doesn't have too many Archons in his composition. The Psystorm is there, yes, to try and tank this. There's 9 Stalkers, but somehow Neeb has to deal with this. Psystorm can really injure mutas, but right now if you're Neeb, you're like, oh man, this is no good. He's throwing up 2 more Stargates in a panic, despite him already having 1 up, so I guess he's thinking maybe Void Rays or something, because he should be starting a fleet beacon otherwise. And now Neeb is just going to try and attack on underneath this, but the thing is, those Stalkers, they blinked a little bit disjointed there, and he's just not in position to deal with this. And look at this, a big Ling drop from Serral into the main base. He even creeps on Neeb, just because he can. He's going to drop creeps from those Overlords while pushing the 3rd base of the Protoss. Neeb is going to start storming, and Storm is the breaking tool. Storm is what you need as a Protoss in order to break this composition, but Neeb not at a good enough angle to get on top of it. Still, attacking into the lurkers that are covering these Broodlords is so tough, so Neeb really needs to pull really needs to pull the Zerg out of position. Somehow there's 4 mutas now heading towards this base, which is going to be a pain to deal with. And if you're Neeb, you just got to get on top of this army somehow. But look at this, Serral using these cliffs expertly. Neeb has to go for this at some point, but look at this, the Zerg on the high ground just getting closer and closer, and eventually as the Protoss here are backed up, there's nothing you can do. Neeb is going to have to dive on top of this army at some point. Looks like some Lings and Hydras are actually catching a portion of it. Neeb not really paying attention to this, has got to pull back with this portion. I think his section can actually win this fight. He's got like 5-6 Immortals here versus these Hydras. They should be able to take this one. Hydras have such high DPS though. But we take a look here. I mean, it really is just Lurkers and Broodlords. Maybe Neeb can break this position. I mean, we see a recall from the Terran trying to get the rest of his army here, but I felt like maybe coming in from multiple angles would have been the best choice with those forces. Right now he's trying to get underneath these Broodlords, dropping Psystorm, but he's just not coming in from the right angle on top of these guys. And as a result, I don't think Neeb can break this. I felt like maybe he could have done it with his army composition. Like, if he had, say, come from this angle, got on top of the Lurkers, then charged forward into the Broodlords, forced them back, to Psystorm to tank shots and whatnot. But when you're just sitting back as a Protoss versus this many Broodlords, like, your time to strike was a minute or 2 ago, because it doesn't get better just sitting back versus Broodlords. You bleed off units. Now, we have seen Neeb. He has stayed alive long enough to get up to Tempest, but the concern is his 4th base is going down. His 3rd base has already fallen. The Tempest are going to work away on the Broodlords as quick as they can, but I mean, even now, Neeb has taken so much damage this game that the Zerg is in a beautiful position. In comes Serral with his Hydras and Lings and Rav, and Lurkers are charging in here, and Neeb just doesn't have enough. GG gets called. There we go. Serral able to take game number 3 in a row versus Neeb, and that's going to allow him basically just to show that he is still the StarCraft king. I'd love to see this series played out again anytime. I feel like it really is Neeb form dependent, and Neeb didn't look too good today. I mean, he's a very good Protoss, and of course he looks fantastic, but as far as Neeb goes, I feel like Neeb sometimes approaches these situations a little bit better. Maybe he's like, oh man, it's Serral, gotta be careful what I do, and overthinks it almost in a sense. But no, I mean, great play by Neeb. In the end though, Serral showing he is still the king. Of course, if you stayed to watch to the end of this video, feel free to press that like button, as let's try and break 20 likes on this video. And of course, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. This has been a fun cast. I mean, kind of a wash by Serral, but we got to cover all this StarCraft, and I know you guys love Serral, so thanks for watching. This has been LaughNgamez. I will see you next time.